What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to talk about all the free crons that you can get weekly. Ever since the Calpheon Ball, they've been kind of revamping a lot of our weekly quests and things to do. So I kind of wanted to make more of a checklist for myself, but I guess this will help all of you guys simply because we all need crons no matter where you're at in the game. So I made a list of things you do weekly. Nothing really changed in terms of your routine or schedule, but now that some rewards got shifted and everything, I think, as far as I understand, you get around 1,500 free crons every roughly a week just by doing easy bosses and everything. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. And yeah, I made a list. So in no particular order, they're just kind of things I wrote. As we all know, the rift bosses, the dark rift thingies that you do, instead of the reward boxes that you would get normally, they kind of took out the reward boxes and then they just give you 100 crons and just across the board and a bunch of other random goodies. So overall, this was a good change because, you know, those rewards that gave yellow accessories from 2020, and those are irrelevant nowadays, more or less. Yeah, I think this was a good change. So for all of you who have not done your rift bosses and you see the number down here, that would be 6 if you had them. Yeah, make sure to start doing them. Those are at least 100 per boss, so 600 every 5 days. Overall, a good change. I mean, it takes you about a solid 10 minutes just to run through all the bosses and get that one. The next thing I'd recommend everyone doing is Pit of the Undying, and this one is, if you just search it up, Pit of the Undying, depending on where you're at, this is actually pretty useful because you know how they give those insignias for the classes that are 10% XP? This also gives you the one all the way to Pen, which is plus 30%, and each tier, so when you start out, you get 5% combat bonus, then 10, 15, 20, and then the one at Pen is 30%. So that one is actually better than the insignias that they give out, you know, these thingies, for example, that's only 10%. So yeah, it's not really that much better because XP in this game is additive and not multiplicative. So that 0.1 or 0.001 you're getting stays the same essentially. But anyway, everyone should be doing Pit of the Undying weekly just to show you what it looks like. You get the seals of the Undying, and then you get roughly around, I don't know, 400 to 600 a week, depending on if you get the lucky boss or what tier you're doing. Ideally, I'd recommend doing the highest tier you can every week, just because there's more crons. So yeah, another 400 to 600, depending on difficulty, if you get some good RNG as well with the extra boss. Yeah, that's always nice. Another 500 on top of that, so we're at a total of, let's just say, 1,100 crons, more or less. And then every week you should be doing bosses. So the ones that I'd recommend for you guys, and outside of the shrine bosses, you guys should be going to Garmoth every week. And then if you can, start doing the, where is it? It is, oh yeah, I guess, well, there's bosses. They changed it with today's update. And the Morning Light boss tokens, instead of doing that, you just get a token, right? And then you can exchange that for other stuff. But the boss, I think it still drops 3 crons, whatever. Same with Garmoth and everything. So yeah, those are a bunch you should do every week. At least Garmoth, at least. Maybe Bell if you want to, but those are, I believe, different. And yeah, any events that we have going on. So for example, this game has always been an event-driven game, so even 10 years ago when I was playing, there's always some sort of activity. You can just check it in your new tab. Right now we have the Snowfall Crasher thingy, it's just giving a bunch of Cron Stones and a bunch of other goodies, and then this one, more outfits, more Cron Stones, and a lot of other exchanges. So yeah, always do the events. That's not part of your weekly, but there's always something going on that it essentially is a weekly. Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about, if I haven't missed anything, was Atoraxxion dungeons. So they actually changed this one after the Calpheon Ball, and if you don't know how to find it, you type what is it? You can find party a platoon, and then if you want to find a group for the Atoraxxion dungeons, you could do that one. And what they did was, you know how formerly there was a seasonal mode, a normal, and an Elvia being the hard difficulty. They kind of just removed the season and normal just because the rewards across the board were just straight up better for Elvia. And so what it looks like nowadays is you only have to do this once a week. Previously, you could have done it twice a week and then get 2 different chests. Now you do it once a week and then the rewards are combined. So ultimately, it's always just better. And, you know, there's also one that you could do as well, which is the Red Heart. And this one it's more of an end game thing just because it's a like equivalent of a Calamity 10 boss, in my opinion, or what they said at least. But if you can, all of these things, they just give Cron stones. So like if you look at the reward bundle, that's like 200, 150. So this is going from Atoraxxion Dungeon 4, 3, 2, 1. And so 50, 100, 150, that's 300, and then that's 500 Cron stones just by doing it once a week now. And if you have a pretty decent group, you could just blast through this in, I would say, maybe an hour, which, you know, you're getting more than just Crons. You're getting all the extra bonuses like the Gem of the Void, which is for endgame crystals and everything, the fragments. So in case you don't know where it is or what it is, see these tokens right here? I feel like these need a revamp, but realistically, the best thing to get is the memory fragments, because you get a bunch of these, and they're just like most silver value overall. Maybe one day in the future, they'll revamp all these crystals and make it actually good, but until then, mem frags are the best thing to get. People used to say, oh, get the weapon exchange coupons. You know how many of those they gave you just for like events and playing the game? They gave you one for a season or like the Christmas event, and it's just like, if you're gonna reroll, you might as well just tag, and unless you're like actually hard rerolling. But ultimately, yeah, these are a bunch of stuff, and then other things you could do for Crons. I mean, this isn't really much, but it's like do your black shrines, and then you could do that as well. What else is going on now? These weekly, you could turn these into memfrags and stuff and just buy Crons, but ultimately the stuff that I think are important in my checklist are weekly Rift Boss. This is the one that got changed the most and actually worth it. It's like, if you were to count it as vendor Crons, essentially almost about 2 billion vendor Crons for like a 10-15 minute activity. Not even that. The longest part of that is getting from point A to B, which is each boss. Pit of the Undying, you guys should be doing that every week as well. That's just like another 10-15 minute activity. World bosses, the important ones that I would recommend, like realistically, I know there's a lot of them, but the one I'd say is probably Vel, and then Garmoth, and down here for the Morning Light bosses, just because you can get a bunch of other goodies. So you should have a character there, like let's say your seasonal extras, somewhere at all the 4 bosses. And of course, the Atoraxxion, which is, well, I guess they kind of changed it. So either way, just go to find party, and then sometimes you'll see like, oh, an Atoraxxion dungeon, or find a guild or something that does it. So anyway, that's probably roughly about 1,600 Crons a week. It's pretty good for, you know, like a couple hours of play total. And yeah, that's what I would talk about. So before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We have an event going on right now, which you guys can see on screen. If you decide you want to buy any pearls or A coins or get the game package, use my code. I get a small part of what you spend on it, and it really does help me out. So yeah, I usually don't take sponsorships for my videos just because it's, you know, disrupts the video. That's why I try to put these at the end of the video instead. But yeah, if you enjoy my stuff, use my code if you buying pearls or anything, and it really helped me out. So always appreciated, never required, and have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy holidays, by the way. And that's it for today. Peace.